Yeah, I think it's more like big, like collision. Felt my face, a growing knot, so that doesn't feel good.
The moment that defined Indiana's season didn't come from a highlight dunk or a buzzer beater. It came from a sickening collision under the basket, and that was horrible scene. Early in the first quarter, Lexie Hull and Gabby Williams both dove for a loose ball. Their heads smashed together so hard that the sound echoed through Gainbridge Fieldhouse.
Beat the basket. Here's what happened.
Both players stayed down. Williams stayed on the bench. Hull walked to the locker room, holding her forehead, and the cameras caught the swelling starting almost immediately. A huge lump you could see from the stands. Hull was in pain, and the whole team was afraid of another injury. The Fever were already missing Caitlin Clark, still recovering from a groin injury that sidelined her since mid-July. Sophie Cunningham, Ari McDonald, and Sydney Colson were done for the year. Chloe Beebe was managing knee discomfort. Indiana's guard rotation was shredded, forcing starters to play heavy minutes in one of the most important games of the season. The timing couldn't have been worse. The Fever had dropped 4 of their last 5 and slipped to the edge of the playoff picture, holding the 8th and final seed at 19-18. Seattle sat just ahead in 6th. A loss would have been a gut punch. To make things even stranger, the whole arena was draped in Nike logos celebrating Caitlin Clark. Her personal logo was plastered across banners, shirts, and courtside backdrops. But Clark herself was sitting out, watching her teammates fight to keep their season alive. Then Lexie Hull came back. That single act of toughness told you everything about this Indiana Fever team. Head coach Stephanie White called the collision disgusting, but said Hull never shows pain. She just gets back up and competes every possession. Aaliyah Boston called her the definition of tough. Hull finished with 9 rebounds and a team best, plus 31 plus, minus. A stat that doesn't lie about her impact. She shut down Seattle's perimeter flow and gave Indiana an emotional jolt they never lost. That toughness set the stage for the Fever's stars to dominate. With Clark and most of the guard depth out, Indiana shifted everything inside, and Boston made sure Seattle felt it. She bullied her way to 27 points and 9 rebounds, establishing deep position and scoring at will. When the Storm tried doubling her, it didn't matter. A B has been the one most affected by all our injuries, White explained. Getting her the ball on time, on target, all that matters. But tonight, her aggressiveness with the ball, getting to the rim, playing low to high, there's nobody who can stop her when she plays like that. Odyssey Sims, signed late in the year, looked fearless. She scored 22 points, pushing the pace and burying a deep 3 from the logo that sent Gainbridge into chaos. For a roster that could have folded under the weight of injuries, Sims' swagger was a game changer. Kelsey Mitchell added 21 points of her own, steadying the offense every time Seattle threatened to run. Without Clark stretching the floor, Mitchell's outside shooting was crucial to keep defenses honest. Together, Boston, Sims, and Mitchell turned what should have been a survival game into a statement win. The Fever absolutely controlled the interior, out-rebounding Seattle 42-21 and outscoring them in the paint all night. Every missed Storm shot landed in Indiana's hands. Every box out was physical. Seattle's guards couldn't get clean penetration, and their offense fell apart under the pressure. By the third quarter, Indiana's 11-point lead had grown to 16. Boston's strength inside forced Seattle to foul, and the Fever made more free throws than the Storm even attempted. By the final buzzer, Indiana had a 95-75 win, a season sweep over Seattle, and control of their own playoff destiny, climbing to 6th in the standings. Lexie really epitomizes the toughness and grit of this team, White said afterward. She just plays her butt off, no matter what. And while the Fever were celebrating their most complete performance in weeks, another piece of news hit. Caitlin Clark is almost back. For the first time since her mid-July injury, Clark returned to live practice with teammates this week. White made it clear they're being cautious, testing her body against contact, watching how she handles fatigue, and making sure there's no regression. "I want to see her in practice live," White said. "Multiple practices, to make sure there's no setback." The Fever only have 6 games left in the regular season. Sitting 6th in a crowded playoff race, they can't afford a slide. That makes Clark's return as much about timing as talent. So when might she play? Many are circling Friday's road trip to Los Angeles as the target. It's a Western Conference opponent, meaning it won't affect tiebreakers in the East. And it would give Indiana time to reintegrate Clark before critical games against Phoenix and Minnesota. Her comeback isn't just about her scoring. It's about spacing the floor for Boston, adding another playmaker next to Mitchell, and supercharging the transition game that already shredded Seattle. What Indiana proved on Clark's Nike logo night is that they're more than one superstar. They showed resilience, identity, and a willingness to fight even when the roster is battered. If they can beat playoff teams shorthanded, imagine how dangerous they'll be when Clark returns to stretch defenses and fuel fast breaks. Boston said it best. Lexie is the definition of tough. That toughness spread to the entire roster. And on a night built to celebrate Clark off the floor, the Fever sent a clear message on the floor. "We're not here to survive. We're here to win." So here's the real question. Was this the night Indiana stopped looking like an injured team and started looking like a playoff threat? If you've got the Fever, drop a comment saying "I've got the Fever." Like, subscribe, and turn on all notifications so you never miss a moment. Caitlin Clark is almost back. And if this team can impose its will at half strength, just imagine what happens at full power.